You need to try and pick off the units as...
Look at the shields on the launch missiles.
Oh my god, the drone's gonna take him!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Shakuras Plateau. I bring you Mana from Team Mouse Sports. He's in the red trunks and he is playing Protoss to the southwest versus his opponent in the green trunks. It's Evil Genius's very own IdrA. He is playing Zerg and he is to the northeast.
And IdrA knows this map is a very Forge Expo favored map once again. So I wouldn't be surprised if he did go for a pull first. I think it's a lot safer to do so rather than trying to get that hatch up straight away. If you do go for hatch, it means you're going to have to pull off a lot of drones to fight against pylons and cannons being made. And there are a lot of locations for you to box in cannons and stuff, which could force a cancel on your hatchery. And we see that forward pylon by Mana, and he's going to go ahead and scout. Let's see what IdrA does here.
Now, as you said in the intro, this is a very Forge Fast Expand friendly map right here for Protoss.
Indeed it is, and he will be going for that Forge most likely straight away and putting on a little bit of pressure from it. Or he could just go ahead and throw that Nexus down. It depends what Mana wants to do in this game. He is 0-2 down at the moment in this best of 5 series, right? So he's one game away from going out. Well, not going out, but going down into the losers. Yeah, going down to the losers bracket.
Nobody wants to go to the losers bracket, ladies and gentlemen. And some people might think it's a cushion, but for a lot of players, it's actually a bit of a kick in the teeth when it comes to their confidence.
Yeah, indeed. And Mana's just going to say, nope, I'm not going down. And it looks like he's going to be throwing down with this pile now. He's going to be throwing down that Forge a little bit later, but it's cool. 14 Forge is fine. We'll be going into the base now, and we'll see that we do have a spawning pool indeed first for IdrA here, followed by Gas straight away after, so we can get that speed ASAP.
Well, scanning around and seeing what he can see, doing a little bit of fist fighting right here with that drone, and that is unwise. Admittedly, it is designed solely to annoy IdrA as opposed to anything else. Extractor is on its way to completion, and we've also got a spawning pool down in IdrA's base right now.
Indeed, and we don't have hatchery first this game. This is a bit of a smaller map as mentioned. So he's just going to go and play safe, doesn't want to lose, he's in a commanding position. And now we do have that 18 Nexus coming down for Mana now, completely standard. We'll be wanting to throw down a cannon ASAP, and we'll look to wall that off very, very shortly too with a couple of gateways.
See how well he can hold up. Now, if you were IdrA right now, knowing that this is Shakuras Plateau and that a Forge Fast expansion is very likely, and also that you're going to be kind of stuck on one base for a little longer than you would like, simply as a result of that probe, what would your reaction be?
I don't know. I think that you're just going to try and get that hatchery down ASAP. If he throws down a pylon, it's going to be a little bit annoying, but he can go ahead and get that now. With IdrA, I think because he's in a comfortable position in this best of 5 series, that he might as well cut corners a lot, get a lot of drones, and just try to rush up to that 70-80 mark ASAP. But he has to be so careful about any 6-7 gate pushes with Blink. All these timing attacks are so strong on this map.
Well, we will find out very shortly, folks. As the Forge is complete, the cannon is there, the gateway is coming down, and the party is going on right here in Mana's house. However, you better bring your own booze.
And 2 Lings are going to get denied. Cybercore will go down to complete that wall off. Let's look at overall positions for IdrA. Has one on the natural, just north of that natural location. We'll be able to scout the double gases if taken. It doesn't really have anything to get into the main base ASAP, which is kind of important, especially playing against this, as there are a lot of builds that do come off from Forge Expand. And IdrA taking a very fast before 5-minute third base. Very typical from IdrA.
But perhaps a little bit risky, you might think?
Risky, yeah, possibly, but then I think it's standard to do so. The problem is I think it can get scouted easy because he hasn't got speed yet, hasn't even begun researching it. So if one probe or one zealot, as you can see, already pushing out to take the Xel'Naga Tower, sees it, then it can be dangerous.
Oh, we're about to find out, and it looks like that is quite likely to happen. Mana is scouting around, and he grabs the Xel'Naga Watchtower to the bottom right there, looking for an opening. He has one right now. If he actually wants to go for it, he can, but he's not going to scout there. Perhaps he doesn't expect a very fast third, or he thinks it's there and just doesn't care about scouting it.
I'm sure he must expect a fast third, and actually this Zealot being microed well, and so the Lings actually by IdrA, but the Zealot does come out on top, and I'm pretty sure that Mana knows the third base has gone down because there's not really, you can't like all in on this map. Simply because of the way the ramp is located for Mana, it's very easy to defend. One force field as well pushes anything away. So I'm sure he expects that. So we'll have to see what he does with his money now. He's building up gas, getting double assimilators here. Hasn't yet started any upgrades. We'll do that very shortly, I suppose. But what will he do from here? Time will tell.
Well, 4 gas is, well, he can do pretty much anything he wants with 4 gas for the time being. We could see maybe some DTs. We could, of course, see some Colossus play coming in. But he's not showing any cards at all. He's actually... He did start Hallucination there and then cancelled it. So, I mean, usually Hallucination would be an indicator that you aren't planning on getting a Robotics anytime soon.
Yeah, I mean, he could throw down 2 Stargates, maybe? I don't know. I'm really intrigued to see what he's doing here. Well, I doubt it. He is getting +1 attack, and he is kind of boosting the Cybercore. So I suppose we'll see a bunch of gateways go down very, very shortly. Here comes the probe, and there go down. Actually, going to be fast robotics facility. Ooh, this is intriguing. This looks like it might be a very, very fast Colossus build.
Yeah, it seems like it is. Admittedly, that indecision with the Hallucination was what got me curious. Like, well, you're building Hallucination. Either you misclicked, or the only reason you're doing that is because you're not getting a Robo. That's the standard reason. There are a couple of other uses for Hallucination against IdrA, as we're well aware, but they're not exactly what I call reliable. Whatever the case, he is going for that one, and there's a Spore Crawler coming out because I believe, well, IdrA's got to imagine one of 2 things. Never mind, he cancels that one. He's thinking, maybe there's Dark Templar, maybe there's Airplay. In this case, nothing of the sort. Roach Warren coming down, and 3 Spine Crawlers for defense, 4 more gateways for Mana as well, and that Robotics. So we would expect to immediately go into a Robotics bay and work on Colossus then.
And great pressure by Mana, just moving out a little bit into the middle of the map, forcing IdrA to build 2 Spine Crawls. They were cancelled afterwards, but, you know, forcing him to build stuff he doesn't necessarily want to get. Overlord does try to come in to scout, but is going to get very easily denied.
Shot to pieces, no doubt. Yep.
Yeah, we do have an Observer being pulled out to go ahead and scout. And IdrA is still in the dark, has no idea what this is. Does see a very heavy sentry count, so he's most likely thinking this isn't going to be what it is with this fast robotics bay going down now. So this will definitely catch him off guard.
Yeah, it will. It really, really will. It was an intriguing set of mind games right there by Mana. You think, well, he can't be going for fast Colossus because he's building so many sentries and he's draining his gas, but he can because he's had 4 gas for quite some time, so he can do this. There's not really a big deal. And he's just starting to nibble his way through there, looking for an access point to the back right now. We'll have to see what Mana decides to do with these rocks. I mean, he's taken them out already, and there's a possibility of expanding to the bottom if he so desires. In the meantime, IdrA really isn't doing a huge amount, honestly. I mean, he's got a Zergling count of 17, he's got 69 drones as well, and he's working on +1 missile attack. He does have the layer up, and he's got Roach as well, so... Could be seeing a standard Roach Hydra mix right here. Yeah,
that's what IdrA prefers. He doesn't really like the Ling and Festa Baneling style at all. He prefers the more solid, harder, straight-up fighting with Roach Hydra Corruptors. But I really like this play by Mana. He's actually walled off his front now and has a cannon. We'll most likely want to add on another cannon or 2 later as the game goes on. And he's going to take this 3rd base. And basically sit on 3 bases for the entire game, build up that Colossus count, and try to get to that Death Ball, that 180 maybe supply food before he starts to push down. And the way this map is built is that IdrA should normally be expanding south against a Puros player, but look at this. He's expanding to the north now because he knows that his opponent is expanding towards IdrA. A very, very smart decision here by IdrA to get that expansion up there.
Yeah, there's all sorts of possibilities. With the way that the rocks are set up on this version of the map, there is a very easy access point to the usual, I would say, 4th and 5th bases of the Zerg right here. You've got this one right there, and then the one at the bottom, so he doesn't want to risk that. Spanning to the north is a little dodgy, but as you said, Mana's actually walled off his front right there, so there's no real way to access that just yet. And Mana would prefer that you didn't destroy those rocks. Thank you very much, IdrA.
Yeah, IdrA really needs to try and get them down. That'll help out a lot in trying to get position. And it looks like IdRA's going to poke at the front of that main ramp with these roaches actually moving across the map now. And see what damage he can do, see if there's any cannons there or anything. Maybe how to take out the Forge. If he gets the Forge with +2, that's going to really favor IdrA for the remaining of the game.
It will. It will. There's
but there
no
is
real
a sentry there, though.
There is a sentry. It could be difficult to get in there. He's going to try it anyway, though. And he sees the research, and he brings the fire down. Sentry blocks it off, but it doesn't matter all that much. He's able to take down the cannon, but I don't think he's going to be able to finish that Forge off. No way. And he now knows about the Colossus.
Yeah, indeed. He knows what's going on now. It's just, can he defend against it? I mean, he's getting Ventral Sacks, which is going to help out, and can do a lot of multiple drops at the same time. And that's kind of the key in fighting the Death Ball, is just to drop all over the place, wear it down in small locations, and then combat it at the end.
It's highly immobile.
Yeah.
And that's a problem. We've got level 2 missile attack upgrade on the way up for IdrA, and we are looking perhaps for a very, very large drop right here. The question is, where will it be?
And we'll have to see. I think the best location is directly into the main base. So straight in the middle of the left expansion and the right one, straight into the main base. Is basically the opening location for IdrA. There's no cannons there, though there are a lot of Blink Stalkers though, but he's not going to really see this coming at all. He has no vision on the map. And IdrA pressuring on the right-hand side to divert the army away, so that the army is in a bad location and is going to come in for this drop.
Mana's working on the Templar Archives at the moment. It's nowhere near completion, though. Possibly looking for some Archons, since it's going to take him too long to get Psystorm out, but you never know. He is a big Storm fan. You know, we know the phrase Mana Storm for a very good reason. And here comes this massive drop right here, but this Death Ball is ready to receive it. And IdrA now looking for another opportunity, perhaps going to attack the front right here. A few Roaches move in, and they're looking to attack on the right-hand side and smashing their way into the third expansion, third base, second expansion right here for Mana. And right now, IdrA losing a few Overlords, some units going down, not a huge number in the meantime. There's a quick Hydralisk drop in the back. So this is all over the place right here for IdrA, who is getting aggressive on multiple fronts. Now, as you said, exploit the immobility of the Death Ball. That's exactly what he's doing right now. Those drops were cleaned up, but probe damage was significant. That Nexus almost went down right there as well.
But IdrA did lose a lot in trying to kill that Nexus. Lost about 15 Roaches or so, maybe a little bit less, and did lose a lot there, but is able to reinforce very well, and that's the best way to play against it. Just, you know, throw units at your opponent the way the Swarm should be played, and then keep remaxing out to wear it down. But it is getting more difficult for IdrA. 160 food for Mana now. We're getting a lot high up with that supply count, and the more he pushes towards 200 is going to be almost unstoppable for IdrA.
It'll be difficult, without question, especially with that +2 upgrade in there as well, so that's a lot of firepower available. The Colossus will benefit an awful lot from that. IdrA streaming across the map now with a large force, and it's immediately turning around after seeing the Death Ball moving in right here from his opponent. I'll have to see just how much damage that can really do. I did see a drop heading over in that direction. Yes, it is. It's going for the potential fourth base. It isn't actually up in the meantime. Very nicely cleaned up right here, by the looks of it, by Mana, who is taking a lot of fire, but the Colossus, of course, tear their way through the Hydralisks. That's to be expected. And Colossus taking no losses, since he just doesn't have any Corruptors at all to deal with this. And still, Mana did get worn down quite a lot there.
Yeah, I mean, 150 food, though, still. He's remaxed out a lot onto that base. He has Storm now. He needs to recollect, though. Does not want to engage. Needs to pull back. Nice drop there by IdrA, but cleaned up very nicely. Now, if he just recollects Mana, that is, recollects in the middle of the map with all his units, with Storm, going to be so hard. There are no Corruptors, only 4 just making.
And 4 Corruptors are not enough to deal with 4 Colossus, without question. That is going to be tricky for him to do, especially with a high Stalk count, able to shut that down very nicely. Big damage on that big ball of Roaches right there. Reinforcements will be taken out, and this is what it comes down to right here, since you've got very equally sized armies. There's a Storm, and IdrA actually sitting in it with the Roaches right now. That was a...
Wow, see you later.
Okay, yeah, bye, IdrA, I suppose. Yeah, that was... He was not happy about that.
Nope. Not at all, IdrA. And unfortunately, when that Protoss Ball gets that high, it is so hard to stop. And no matter how much units you have, the efficiency of that Protoss army is so much higher than the Zerg one. And he didn't wear it down enough, fast enough. And unfortunately, for IdrA, it does lose his momentum now. And this could be the start of a turn back.
It could be. Comeback is on its way, folks. There is a possibility of that happening right now. Mana takes 1 game. That puts him 1 game down in this best-of-5 series, and IdrA's still 1 game away from taking it. We'll see if he's able to do so. Unfortunately, I have a feeling he's going to start to end up tilting against Mana right here, and that's not what you want. The biggest enemy of IdrA is IdrA. We know that for a fact, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching the IGN Pro League Season 2. That was Game 3 of this matchup. And we'll be back very, very shortly with yet more action from the series. IdrA versus Mana, which is just starting to get heated up right here. Don't go anywhere.